this. Be very, very careful with forcing growth, because there's a certain skill set required to force growth, and that is not the same skill set that is required to scale a company. It might seem counterintuitive, but that's how it is. Scaling a company is a matter of, okay, offers validated. Now remove the limiting factors. That's all we have to do to scale a company, okay, is remove the limiting. We already know you provide a good service. We know that people want what you have. We know yada, 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 right? So it's not about forcing it down people's throat anymore. It's about removing the limits to growth. Okay, and you go to velocitycall.com and we'll talk about it. But let me explain to you, or let me give you an example of one of our favorite clients, private clients in the network. She has just such a gift of simplifying things and taking these super gifted women out of their corporate world and helping them launch their own business where they have control and they can scale themselves. Here's the problem. This particular client of ours, member of ours, enrolled in a very good marketing and sales program. They taught her how to package it up and market and sell it. And she did okay. And by the time she came to us and became a client, she was experiencing a ceiling, right? This huge roadblock. And her mind was like, do I run more Facebook ads? Do I build another webinar? Do I follow up stronger? Like, it was like forcing growth, right? Here's my suggestion. Here's what we decided to do. Because she's a service provider, when we dove in and talked about what do you like doing, tell me a little bit more, dig deeper, discovered that once she gets a client, they want to stay around forever. And the only time she loses really good prospects is on the initial sales call and when their program is up, the second sale. And all this means, this is very, very common among service providers. So if you're a service provider and you love providing service and that's what you're best at, you're going to want to consider this. The limit to scale, the friction, right? When we're talking about scaling a business, we have to remove friction because you can't just work harder and harder and harder and harder. It has to get easier and easier and easier to do the same amount of work. There were 2 friction points, okay? Friction 1 was the initial sale. It's a huge dollar amount. It's a 12-week program. And then friction point number 2 was the second sale. Do you want to continue after your 12 weeks? It's very, very common amongst marketers and salespeople to set their program up this way because their strength is market to you and then sell to you, and then market internally and then sell, and then market internally and sell. Very, very good model for people that are natural marketers and salespeople. Not a good model for service providers. Service providers do much, much better with a consultative sales call, providing service, letting that service make the sale for you, and then providing service and maintaining them. So the key was, with her specifically, instead of $7,200, it was $7,200 for 12 weeks. And then after that, there was a continuity program. A lot of friction with the first sale. Very, very difficult, right? $7,200, there's a commitment. The other party is not entirely sure what they're about to get. So I said, hey, why instead of $7,200 for 12 weeks and then another sale? Because like week 10 and 11 are like a countdown to doomsday. The prospect, the client is dreading what happens. And my client, the service provider, was dreading the sale. So there's a lot of friction where there doesn't need to be. So if you're a service provider like she is, this is my suggestion to her. I just said, hey, why don't you try this? The next person on the phone, don't even try to sell them, just serve them. And I bet they ask you how much it costs. And when that comes up, just say $2,500 a month, $2,500 a month, right? And there was some friction there because that's not what she was taught. She was taught you got to collect all this money up front and yada, yada, yada. However, by lowering the entry point and providing phenomenal service, this was probably 8 months ago. I don't think a single client has quit. So her lifetime value went from about $7,200 plus some change to 10 grand, 12 grand per client because her strength is providing service. She's phenomenal and people want to stick around. And if that's the case, right, if your strength is providing service at a very high level, I will often suggest that you roll them in at the lowest friction point possible and let your service do the rest. If your strength is marketing and selling, I would probably suggest the model that she had implemented previously, right? You market, you make a hard sell, you collect the money up front, and then you market to them internally, right? Maybe you're a good service provider, but if you have the strength of marketing and sales first above actually serving, that's a great model for you. Market, sell, market, sell, market, sell. Stay in your strength. If you're a phenomenal service provider, market and sell once, but make it as easy as possible. And then provide service, and they'll stick around forever. The lifetime value has skyrocketed with our private clients because 98% of our private clients, there's 52 of them, are service providers. We do have salespeople, right? And those salespeople are far better off setting themselves up to make a sale than setting themselves up to provide service for retention. Perfectly fine. It's a skill set thing. So if you're struggling with, you got a few clients and now you're struggling with maybe the first sale or the follow-up sale, you may be a service provider at heart, right? Your disposition may be one that is better served with a low friction entry point, right? So instead of $5,000 for 12 weeks, just say, hey, it's $2,000 a month. Get them in, and when you do your job, they will stick around forever. You're eliminating the high friction initial sale. Additionally, right, you are eliminating that countdown to doomsday. If you're a salesperson, that is a countdown to glory. You're going to make another sale. But if you're a service provider, that is a countdown to doomsday. It causes stress for you. It causes stress for them. Just avoid it, right? So this is just a process of eliminating the friction, eliminating the limits, not forcing the thing you're already doing. Hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of like a duh thing when you not necessarily when you hear it. There's a little bit of friction when you hear it, but once you implement it and you see how easy it is to just keep people forever, because you lead with service and you continue to serve, best thing you can do for your business. Again, on the flip side, if you're on a retainer model, but you're a phenomenal high ticket salesperson, maybe you bump the price and start selling, right?